my gosh, this is one of my favorite spots in the city. Right here, right here, right here, right now. Yo, 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 another day, another adventure with your homeboy Jermaine, and getting this video started off, I thought I would just answer a quick question that a lot of people have asked me in comments, just talking to people, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are wondering this. Is San Francisco, is it worth it to move to San Francisco right now? Is it worth it? And I thought I would just sort of talk about the city and talk about how things have changed in the city since, you know, we've been in this lockdown slash pandemic. And I think that I think we can just talk about this for a quick minute. So first off, one huge thing I must say about the city is it's nothing like it once was. It is nothing like it once was. I remember just on a normal day, like today is Monday as I'm filming this video, and I was just skateboarding in the financial district, and there's some cars out. You know, there's definitely more cars out this month than it was 2 months ago. I see a lot more construction going on, and I don't like in the financial district. It's not like construction like they're building buildings, because I don't think they're building really any buildings in the actual this part of the financial district. Across Soma in this area they're building more buildings, but like in the financial district, the core, I see a lot of construction workers, and they're just working inside of the buildings. I don't know what they're doing, but I just see construction workers everywhere, especially around lunchtime, like around this hour. So people are working, but I don't think as many people are going back into office buildings. I think there's just like fewer people going back to office buildings. There's just like more construction work going on, because with construction work you could easily implement social distancing. Other things that have changed, the restaurant scene. Okay, so restaurants are pretty much closed, right? So you can't go in to dine, but yeah, you can take out. You can also eat food outside. Now, if you are not from San Francisco and you're watching this video, you may wonder, what's the problem here? Now, I don't know if a lot of people in San Francisco see a problem with this, but I do. The temperature in the summertime in San Francisco is not warm. It's about 60 degrees usually, and it's usually windy, especially around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. The winds pick up. So right now, as I'm filming this video, it's a nice sunny day. Okay, maybe it's about 75 degrees right now where I am. But in about 2 hours, the winds will pick up, and it'll be about 15 miles to 20 mile per hour winds. And once the winds pick up, the fog will roll in. When the fog rolls in, this beautiful blue sky that's above my head will go away, because the fog will cover the sky. Now, the reason why San Francisco does this is because San Francisco is like on this point, and when the desert heats up, the desert pulls in moisture from the ocean and those mountains. The moisture gets stuck in between the mountains, and it creates fog over San Francisco, and it makes San Francisco really foggy in the summertime. And this is why it's so cold in San Francisco in the summertime. I'm actually really surprised that I don't have a jacket on. I've had a jacket on every day for the past 3 weeks. I've had a jacket on every day. I've had a long sleeve shirt on every day. Some days I've had a long sleeve shirt on and a shirt on top. I've always had, like, you know, 2 pairs of pants, like a pair of tights and then a pair of pants on top, or just wearing a pair of pants. I'm usually outdoors a lot, and it's freezing. I've only ate outside maybe twice, like at a restaurant, because it's kind of stupid, if you ask me, when it's 15 miles per hour winds and I'm trying to eat, and they bring the food out, and as soon as they bring the food out, it's cold, because the wind, it just blowed the food, and it just made the food cold already. So the going out, the eating out scene is just, I mean, it's there. And I definitely see a lot of districts where you see lots of people going out to eat. But it's just something that, I really don't want to subscribe to. Just going to, you know, sit at a restaurant outside when it's cold. Now, if I was in New York City, this would be a completely different story. New York City, it's not cold and windy in the summer. New York City, it can be hot and humid. Oh gosh, it'd be nice to sit outside. But San Francisco, that's just not the case in the summertime. You know, maybe if you're down in San Jose, it's much warmer. If you're in Oakland, it's going to be at least 10 degrees warmer, if not 15 degrees warmer, with no winds. The winds make all the difference here. Okay, so let's move on to housing. Okay. Now, one question people have asked me so many times, Jermaine, can you tell that people are moving out? Does it seem like a lot of people are moving out of the city? And guys, honestly, this is a tough one to answer. This is a tough one to answer because we've been in this lockdown since March, and right now it is August. So between March and August, people have moved out. You know, it's not like they've just moved out on one weekend, which if everyone moved out on one weekend, yes, this would be very, very noticeable. But people have like moved out like over time. And since people have moved out over time, it's very difficult to figure out if a lot of people have moved out, you know, without looking at like data. Now, I do see apartment rentals dropping, but they're not exactly dropping, like they're not really getting like really cheap. I mean, there are some deals popping up, but pretty much what a lot of apartments are doing is, okay, for example, let's say they're renting a studio for $2,300, okay? Maybe they'll actually lower it to $2,100, okay? Once they lower it to 21, they'll have an offer where they'll give you 4 weeks free. Well, they're not giving 4 weeks free anymore. That was months ago. Now they're giving like 8 weeks free. Some places are even giving 12 weeks free if you sign a 1-year lease. The 1-year lease is not actually a 1-year lease. They try to get you to get like a 13-month lease, I guess, so they can kind of get a little bit more money out of you for giving you the 3 months free, or the 2 months free, or the month and a half free, whatever they give you free. And then a lot of these places are not rent control, meaning that next year when your lease is up, if the economy is doing better, they could possibly raise the rent, which I don't think the economy is going to be doing better this year. So now I say all this to say, is this really a good time to move to the city and find a really, really good deal on a place? You can find deals on apartments and studios, but I think there's going to be better deals in the winter months. And the reason why I think there's going to be better deals in the winter months is because right now people are still in a lot of leases. Okay, yeah, some people have already left and moved out, but there's still a lot of leases, and people are just waiting to November when their lease is up and they're gonna leave, and people are just waiting to October when their lease is up and they're gonna leave. And what some people are doing is, okay, let's say you moved here last year, and let's say you're paying $3,000 and you live here at this apartment, right? Now you see that this place over here is $2,000 a month. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna move from this place that was $3,000 and you're gonna move over here to this place that was $2,000. Now the landlord over here that was charging $3,000 for this place, now they've gotta go invest money, clean this place up, repaint it, clean the floors, and rent it out at a lower cost. So I see a lot of people moving around the city, and then I also see people definitely checking out our places, because I've been going around checking out a lot of apartments in the city, and I definitely see a lot of interest. I definitely see other people going checking out places too. Like, so I'm definitely not the only one. There's lots of people going out checking out places, and I do see people like literally signing leases. Like I see people, you know, saying, oh, welcome to the neighborhood. And I saw some people, you know, get a set of keys yesterday when I went to a place to check out. So there is, I mean, there are people moving out and moving around, but it could be people just moving from one part of the city. Now, one neighborhood that I did notice a lot of vacancies in was the North Beach neighborhood. I did a TaskRabbit job over in the North Beach neighborhood, and I noticed, oh my gosh, there are a lot of units. Like I just noticed the day that I went to North Beach and did that job, it was multiple moving trucks on that street, and I actually remember seeing for rent signs and windows, which I thought was insane to see a for rent sign in a window, because I haven't seen that in so long in San Francisco, because the rental market is just untouchable. It's unstoppable, yo. Action right now. Oh crap. Oh, sorry. Okay, the rental prices, they're falling a little bit, but they haven't fallen enough to make it a really good deal yet. And outdoor dining is, I mean, it works on a nice day, but like, you know, in the evenings, it doesn't really work so much. What about shopping? What about shopping in the city? Well, the malls are closed, but you don't have to go to the malls because there's plenty of standalone stores. So shopping is pretty cool in the city. You know, the Apple store is open, the Gucci store is open, the Louis Vuitton store has a really long line wrapping around the store. And yeah, shopping is pretty cool. So if you want to come to the city and shop, pretty much all the shops are open except for the stores that are in the mall that don't have a entrance. Yeah, they don't have their own entrance. Those stores are closed, but if it's a store in the mall and it has its own separate entrance, it can technically it can still be open. I don't know how they come up with these rules, but I mean I don't come up with these rules, but I just sort of follow the rules, you know. Transportation in the city. So how are you gonna get around the city if you come to the city? Well, all the cable cars are still closed down, and the cable cars, instead of taking a cable car, you have to take a bus. And BART is still running. Now, BART is the train that connects you to outside of San Francisco. Muni has underground trains that connect you within San Francisco. The BART trains are in operation. The Muni trains are closed down. So if you take the Muni trains and you're used to taking Muni trains going somewhere, because Muni trains are a whole lot more convenient to take than taking a Muni bus, all the Muni trains are closed down. Now I'm pretty sure that they'll open back up eventually, but I have no idea when. But it's kind of a blow to have the Muni trains closed, because with the Muni trains you can get to certain parts of the city a lot faster because the train goes underneath the city, versus the buses, they're above on the street, and they have to stop at like red lights and stuff like that, and wait for traffic and wait for people crossing the street and stuff like that. So a lot of the underground trains are much faster, but unfortunately a lot of them are closed to stop the spread. So what about crime in the city? Is crime worse, or what's crime like? Well, since we have started the lockdown, one thing I must point out is late at night, not late at night, just at night, it is a lot more, I almost don't want to say sketch, but I can't think of a better word to describe it. It is more sketch because you go out and there's just not a lot of people out. It just seems a little creepy sometimes. And this can be in a nice neighborhood, not necessarily in the Tenderloin or Union Square. I'm in Union Square neighborhood as of the making of this video, but even in some of the nice neighborhoods, it can just be a little creepy, because on a normal night, on a normal day, you know, let's say 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you would just see people driving around. You would see people out walking their dogs. You would see people out riding bikes, and now you see that, but it's reduced greatly. So when you're out, it's just less people. Bike theft and stuff like that, it's a common thing. About 2 months ago, I had my electric bike stolen from outside of Target, and it was stolen in broad daylight on a very, very busy street. And there's usually people always out smoking cigarettes, and I believe there was a cop car parked right there right when the bike was stolen, and someone came up and used the angle grinder. And angle grinders are really, really loud. Like, they're really, really, really loud, you know? And someone came up and used one and stole my bike, and no one saw anything. So it's kind of like crime is sort of... Crime in the city is already in its own league. It's already its own chapter. So I guess when you talk about crime in the city, car break-ins, they just happen so much. But that's one thing I have noticed. Or that's one thing I haven't noticed. I haven't noticed as much broken glass on the street. Before COVID, before the whole COVID lockdowns, I just noticed, just skateboarding around the city, and you would just see broken glass on the street in a lot of places, because that means that someone just got their car broken into. But I guess since there's less people coming to the city, there's just less cars being broken into. I guess that's one positive thing about this. Yeah. Okay, so is it still worth it moving to San Francisco? Now, this is a question that you're gonna have to ask yourself, this question. Me, I kind of like the city. I really like the city now, because just especially downtown and Soma and the Tenderloin and stuff like that, I don't see the same snobbish, entitled people that I once did. I want to say now when I'm out in downtown and out in the financial district, Union Square, the Tenderloin, everyone I see has thick skin, you know? It's not these little snobs oh, I'm not gonna wear my mask to go in the store, and you know, I'm too good for you, and oh, I'm a techie and I'm better than you. I don't really see that anymore, and that's one reason why I kind of like the city. It kind of went from being a city to it's still a city, but it almost has this small town feel to it. And the reason why I say that is because the city's empty. Okay, so you go to places and it's just not very busy, so people remember you more, you know? So I go places and people remember what I want to order, because there's no more long lines in line anymore, you know? Everybody's gone. So it's more like this homey type feel, you know? But then there's still things that are still tricky, dating, still not so easy in a pandemic, you know? I guess you can go to the park and drink and mingle with people, but I'm not that really big of a drinker. Before the pandemic, I was going to bars and partying quite a bit, but now, I don't really care that much about drinking so much. So that's not really my thing. But yeah, I don't know. There's still things to do in the city. I mean, city stuff. I still like living in the city. I still like the fact that I still don't need a car and I can easily get around. I can go skateboarding. I can ride my bike. But anyway, thought I would make a video talking about, is it worth it moving to San Francisco? Because a lot of people are asking this question a lot. I mean, I even met some subscribers a couple of days ago. They're actually looking to move to the city, and they live outside of the city. And they're yeah, that's some good deals. So we're thinking about moving over to the city. And I just see so many people leaving the city, and I see just a few people coming to the city. And I don't know, I just thought I'd make a video talking about it. But anyway, comment, subscribe, and thanks a lot for watching. Peace out, y'all.